The next algorithm, that is breadth depth first search. As I told, that depth first search algorithm is also one of the simplest algorithm, and we have few examples of this DFS which we will see in few minutes. And it is again a simple and powerful algorithm. This time you are not traversing the nodes in the level order. You have to go deep into its graph by taking one particular node. You have to go deep. That means you have to go to its child, and then it is child, and like that you have to go deep, and you have to backtrack it. You have to go deep until it is impossible, then backtrack and visit another. This is the concept of the depth first search algorithm. That is, you start with vertex S, pick an adjacent vertex, visit it. You have to take one vertex and visit it, and then visit one of its adjacent vertices. That means if you visit X, then you have to visit the adjacent vertex of X. Like that you have to continue. This should be continued until it is not possible to visit the adjacent vertices, and then you have to backtrack and visit another node. Here you have to make use of a data structure called stack, which is very important concept. So in BFS we have made use of the queues concept, but in DFS we will make use of the concept called as stacks. These are the different applications of DFS. One is to find the minimum spanning tree for undirected graph. This is almost the same application as that of the BFS also. And to detect cycles in a graph, this is also important. It is useful. The DFS is useful to detect the cycles, to find the path, which is same application as BFS. Topological sorting, to test whether the graph is bipartite or not, which is almost equal to BFS. BFS is also used to find the graph is bipartite or not. And another important point, finding strongly connected components of a graph. This is also the application of BFS, right? So to find the components of a graph, connected components of a graph, you can use either BFS or DFS. Similarly, if you want to test whether the graph is bipartite or not, you can either use BFS or DFS, not an issue. And one more thing is solving puzzles with only one solution, right? For example, in magazines you may be finding the problems like, or some quizzes like mazes problem. Like you will have a rabbit at one corner, leftmost corner, and you will have the carrot at the rightmost corner, right? Here is my rabbit, this is my rabbit, and some jumbling will be there, like that, some paths will be there, and here is my carrot. You have to find the path to the carrot for the rabbit. So these type of problems are solved by making use of DFS. Very important, right? So whenever you have a problem or a puzzle which has only one solution, then you have to make use of the concept of depth first search, right? After looking into the DFS concept, let me give an example part. Here what you have to do is, as I told, that the depth first search traversal makes use of a concept called as, or a data structure called as stacks. You take an empty stack like this with some elements, and you have a top pointer. This we are very well aware of it, and it is initialized to -1 initially. And again, the same graph which is used for BFS, I am making use of it. You make the vertex SA as the starting vertex, right? You start with A. The first step what you have to do is, you mark A and push A onto stack. You mark it and push it onto stack. The next step is pop A and output. Here at this point we have the output as nil. So in the next point what you will have, output will be, you have to pop it and output. There what you have to do, you have to dequeue and output. Before dequeuing you have to enqueue the adjacent elements of that particular element. Here also you have to do the same thing, right? So before popping the element, or after you pop A and output, what you have to do is, you have to push the adjacent vertices of A. The adjacent vertices of A are B and E. As I told that you can push these elements. So In the BFS, you NQ the adjacent elements and then DQ and output. Here also the same concept. Here what you are following, you pop A and output, and the second step is push adjacent vertices of A or some X, right? So pop and output and then push the adjacent vertices of unvisited vertices only. Remember, every concept is similar to that of BFS except the way you traverse these nodes is different, right? So pop and output. So you popped this A and then outputted, and then you have to push the adjacent vertices of B, unvisited adjacent vertices. Both B and E are unvisited, right? Therefore, you can traverse it in any direction. You can go from left to right, or you can follow the topological order, or not topological order, lexicographical order, whatever it may be. And what I'll do is I'll go for the lexicographical order. Therefore, I push B first and then E first. My top is here, right? Now what you will do, you continue these two steps, pop, you continue these two steps, pop the element and output, and then push the adjacent vertices of that element. Therefore, the element that is to be popped is, whenever you push these elements into the stack, you mark it as visited vertices, right? So you pop E and place it in the output. After popping, what you have to do? You have to push the adjacent vertices of E which are unvisited. The adjacent vertices to E are A, D and F. But A is already visited. It is marked. Therefore, the unvisited vertices are D and F. Therefore, you push those elements in the lexicographical order. Now, my top is here. Right, so these are visited. Now you follow the procedure, that is pop the top element and output, pop F to be popped and place it in output. Now you have to push the adjacent vertices of F. What are the adjacent vertices to F? We have three vertices, that is D, the adjacent vertices are D, E and C. But D and E are already visited. So whatever is the other unvisited vertex, C should be pushed into the stack. Right. So after this, what you have to do? Now the top element is C. Again follow the procedure. Pop C and output. This pop C is popped and outputted. C is popped and outputted, right? And then you have to push the adjacent vertices of C which are unvisited in nature, right? For C we have two adjacent vertices, that is B and F. But both of them are visited, that is either it is present in the output or it is present in the stack. So in such case nothing to do. So what you have to do, my top is pointing here, you go for the next element, that is D. Pop D and print it in the output. And you push the adjacent vertices of D. The adjacent vertices to D are E and F. They are already processed, they are already visited. Therefore nothing to push, right? So you remove it. And you remove it, and here is my top. Now coming to the top element, pop it and place it in the output. After that you push the adjacent vertices of to unvisited vertices of B. Here B is having the adjacent vertices as A, C and G, out of which A is visited, C is visited. Therefore the only unvisited vertex is G. Now you go with the procedure, pop the top element, that is G and output, and there are no adjacent vertices of G. There is only one adjacent vertex, that is B, but it is already processed, therefore nothing to push into it, right? Now we have the top element as B. A, E. This B is already popped and pushed, right? So this is the output we have got by the DFS, that is A, E, that is this way we went, and then after E we have gone through this one, and after F we have gone through this C, and after C we have this D, and then it is B, and then it is G. This is how we processed the things, right? So you can observe that you are going deep from A to E, E to F, and F to C, and then you have backtracked it. Why? Because nothing is there to traverse, therefore you backtracked it, and from there again you have gone through B and G. So this is called as depth. A, E, F, C, D, B, J. So this is an example of depth first search. Therefore the data structure that is suitable for depth first search algorithm is the stack. You make use of stack, and there are only two operations, that is pop the element and output it, and then you have to push the adjacent elements of the popped element. And remember, you have to push only the unvisited vertices, only unvisited adjacent vertices. No need to again push the visited vertices, right? Similarly, the same thing in BFS. The BFS also makes use of three different steps. The first step is you have to enqueue the adjacent elements of the element which you are going to dequeue, and the second and third steps are dequeue and output, right? Very simple algorithm, but where you should be in a position to identify the different traversals. For the same graph, you will have number of BFS. For the same graph, you will have number of DFS sequences. You should be in a position, and you should be in a position to identify which is not a BFS traversal and which is not a DFS traversal. These are the type of questions that may be asked in your GATE examination, right? So A, E, F, D, B, G, C, right? And the interesting features of DFS are the complexity remains the same, big of V plus E, which is almost similar to BFS, right? And let me tell you one thing, that